Episode 18, The Garage Poker Night.
Saturday rolled into Barton County like a cold breath from a beer cooler, the kind that makes your nose sting and your common sense huddle for warmth. At Frank's place, the garage door creaked halfway up, and the first gust sent a shimmy through a pyramid of empty cans Diane swore were art if you squint. Frank was in his black hoodie, breath fogging. He shuffled a deck that had survived at least 3 Thanksgivings, 2 spilled chili pots, and 1 brief career as Larson's chew toy. Cards feel sticky, he muttered. Adds integrity, Ricky said, dragging in a fold-up card table that looked like it had lost a fight with a forklift. Straight out of the VFW basement. Vegas quality, boys. Diane stepped in behind him, cigarette in one hand, tote bag in the other. She squinted through the smoke at the table like it had insulted her personally. Vegas wouldn't take that table unless they needed kindling. Harry was already perched on his orange throne at the workbench. Tiny old TV hissing a Barton County versus Ridgeville game through a bent antenna. A Buddy Weixer sweated quietly beside his elbow. He never looked up. Ref's blind as a bat. He reported to no one. Bats are offended. Doug walked in with a gas station fountain drink so massive it needed 2 hands and its own zip code. He chewed the straw flat, set the cup down, and the table wobbled like a newborn deer. Marty drifted in, humming like a muffler leak, fingers air strumming an invisible guitar. Cards and chords, fellas, he said, like he owned the copyright to both. Cheryl Ann came last, holding a crock pot like it was a bomb. Sorry, we're late. You're not late, Frank said. Sorry anyway, she whispered, shouldering past Ricky, who was now measuring the table's wobble by standing on one leg. Larson was belly up in the corner, snoring like he'd swallowed a chainsaw idling on low. Hudson set his phone on a tripod he'd engineered from duct tape, a shop rag, and 2 soda cans. He held up 3 fingers to the lens. Episode 18, Poker Night, Dad's nerve count. Shaky. Uncle Rick, well, not my uncle, but close. Table wobble. Dangerous. Hudson Frank started. Relax, Ricky cut in, flipping his cap backward for luck. The internet's gonna love me. They're gonna love you until you breathe on the cards, Diane snapped. I want a fair game, no nonsense. What kind of nonsense is allowed, Ricky grinned. None, Frank said. Light nonsense, Harry amended, eyes never leaving the TV. We're not animals. The space heater rattled to life and did absolutely nothing. Frank dealt warm-up hands to thaw the deck. The cards made a hearty thwack that sounded like bad decisions. All right, he said, Texas hold M tonight. $10 buy-in house. Rules. Who's the house? Doug asked. Me? Frank said. Crooked, Diane declared. Shocking, Harry added, and popped his beer. Ricky slapped the table. It responded by crying in furniture. Let's shuffle up and deal, baby. Don't call me baby, Diane said, cigarette wagging like a judge's gavel. Hudson panned the camera across the crew. Welcome to Poker Night at Frank's place. Tonight's contestants. Shirtless noise machine, the matriarch of misery. Papa pay my water bill. Quiet assassin Frank. Semi-professional soda drinker Doug. Marty writes songs no one asked for. And Cheryl, sorry in advance, Ann. Kid's good, Marty said. He can write my PR. Lord help us, Diane muttered. Deal the cards. The first few hands were calm in the way a squirrel looks calm before it bolts into traffic. Chips clicked, breath puffed. Every time Ricky laughed, dust shook off the ceiling and one unlucky broom spider reconsidered its life. Fold, Doug said, expression so blank he could have been auditioning for a mannequin. Call, Marty sung. I'm calling lightly, my wallet's tightly. Bet 2, Diane announced, ash landing in an old coffee can with sniper accuracy. Frank glanced at Ricky's stack. Where'd you get that many chips already? Found them under the mower, Ricky said. Finders keepers. That's not how currency works. Works at the arcade? Ricky shrugged. Cheryl leaned to Diane. Do we? Do we say anything if he's cheating? He's not smart enough to cheat, Diane said. He's just loud enough to look like he tried. Harry punctuated the moment with, if a frog had wings, it wouldn't bump its ass. He took a sip. Still ain't winning this hand. Hudson whispered to the phone. Chat, Popo. Dropped a frog line at 612. Clip it. The space heater made. A brave clunk and died. Everyone froze, then looked at Frank. Kick it, Harry suggested. Frank kicked it. Nothing. Threaten it, Diane said. Frank glared. Work. It made a conciliatory rattle and wheezed back to life like it owed him $20. By the fourth hand, Doug hit a streak, quiet, patient, and somehow becoming very rich while eating beef jerky like a machine that converted salt into wealth. You're cheating, Ricky accused, slamming his beer. The table wobbled so far, the deck slid an inch and reconsidered its friendships. Doug blinked. I counted my outs. You counted your, odds? Doug said. Math? Math is cheating, Ricky declared to general ancestral disappointment. Diane flicked ash and sighed. These chairs lean left. Can't win right when your hip's downhill. Maybe you just lost, Frank said. Don't sass me, Frank Ledeck's crooked airs thin. Table's haunted. Haunted table. Boys, we're gambling with ghosts. Ricky howled. Only ghost I see is your money, Harry muttered. Marty tapped the table in 4 quarters time. Haunted table. Shaky fable. Ricky's broke by dinner table. Sorry, Cheryl said, because that's what she was built to do. For what? Ricky yelped. You didn't even play that hand? I just felt like it, she squeaked. Hudson turned the camera to Larson, who snored, snorted, farted, then resumed sawing logs like a clogged tuba. And that's our color commentator, Hudson narrated. Harry stood with the slow dignity of a man who'd been 34 or 50 years. Gotta pay my water bill? Take your time, Frank called. Only bill I ever pay on time, Harry said, vanishing into the cold like a legend no one asked for. Halfway through, the garage smelled like chili, cigarettes, and fear. The crockpot Cheryl brought emitted a noise normally associated with small engines. What's that sound? Frank asked. The chili? Cheryl said. Sorry, it's whistling, Ricky said. Like it saw a ghost? That's the haunted table, Diane said. It's drafting. Marty dipped a ladle. Tastes like apology, he said. I like it. Don't dip my ladle in your mouth, Diane scolded germs. Those are free, Marty grinned. Doug finished a quiet plate of crackers, then accidentally ate 3 poker chips while staring at the turn card. He chewed once, paused. Not food, buddy. You just ate money, Ricky said. Consider it a bank fee, Doug replied, and fed one to the trash. Hudson panned to a chalkboard labeled House Rules. 1. No looking at others' cards. 2. No accidental spills. 3. No asking Papa what's in the jar. 4. Diane isn't talking to the ref because there isn't one. Add number 5, Diane said. No singing. Marty strummed the edge of the table. No singing, she's winging. 6, Diane added. No rhyming either. Ricky tried to slick deal and fumbled. A 2 club skated across the garage, stopped at Larson's paw. Larson claimed it by lying on it. That's the river, Harry said, not looking. Dog wins. Can the dog play? Ricky asked. More than you, Diane said. He's already housebroken. Cheryl fussed with napkins. Does anyone need oh sorry? Oh here, oh sorry. Cheryl, Frank said softly. You're doing great. Sorry, she whispered and smiled like the sun had just been told it was useful. Hudson's camera snagged a glamour close-up of the VFW table wobbling under the weight of too much friendship. Tonight's sponsor, he whispered, Gravity. By midnight, Ricky had a pile of empties, Diane had a pile of grudges, Marty had 3 half songs about debt and dogs, and Doug's chip stack was taller than the coffee can Diane kept flicking into like a smoky metronome. Harry shuffled back from another water bill, sat, and pointed at the TV. 4th quarter, Barton County's up. Deal faster. Frank took his time purely to spite fate. Last hand, he said. Winner takes the pot. Diane shaded her cards like a spy. Lighting's bad in here. Play the hand, Mom, Frank said. Raise 10, Doug droned. Call, Frank said. All in, Ricky declared. Fold, Diane said. I don't reward foolishness. Since when? Harry asked. Since now, Diane said. I'm evolving. The table tensed. Chips clicked. Heater squealed. Larson snored. Doug laid down a full house in slow motion. Ricky threw his hat. This game's rigged. I got hosed by destiny again. You had a pair of fours, Frank said. Fours are patriotic. Ricky argued. Not when there's 5 of them, Harry said. Frank turned over a straight flush. The garage inhaled, then exploded in noise. This deck is bent, Diane snarled. Haunted, tampered, crooked. Hudson scrawled on the scoreboard. Frank wins. Doug, terrifying. Diane investigating. Ricky considering law school. Marty has a single. Cheryl still sorry Papa paid his bill. The League of Disgruntled Losers migrated to the cooler. Beers clinked. Cheryl ladled victory chili into styrofoam bowls. Hudson perched on the steps, uploading footage. Title: We broke a haunted table poker night at Frank's place. You put haunted in the title? Frank asked. CO? Hudson said solemnly. The phone pinged again and again. Comments? He announced. Cornholicking 27. Papa is an American poet. Dizodeva 88. Doug blinked once in 23 minutes. Terrifying, Chili Chad. Ricky is the reason warning labels were invented. Men fall mama. Tell Diane I want a rematch from last year's chili cook-off. Guitar guy for 2-0. Drop the Bulldog Gas song. Need the full version. Diane's eyes narrowed. Marlene Kincaid, I will bury you in beans. Hudson blinked. 30,000 views. 30 what? Frank froze. People like watching other people lose, Harry said. Explains football, marriages, and your bar tab. Diane flicked dash, grinning. Famous for a night. You'll be unbearable tomorrow. I'm perfectly bearable, Frank said. Not true, Ricky and Diane said in unison. Larson snored approvingly. The heater finally did its job. Frank stacked chips, squared the deck, patted the table. Retire it, Ricky asked. This table's family, Frank said. Haunted family, Diane corrected. Hudson sat beside him. Dad, we famous? For a night, Frank said. That enough? Frank looked around. Harry, Ricky, Doug, Marty, Diane, Larson, the chaos and comfort of it all. It's plenty. Hudson grinned. Good, because I already titled the next one. What is it? Ricky loses again, but louder. Defamation? Ricky yelled. Not on film, Frank said. Everything's on film, Harry muttered. Frank flicked off the TV. The garage quieted. Fan, heater, night hum. Same time next week? Marty asked. Always, Frank said. Hudson leaned against him. Good episode. It was, Frank said. One rusty table, one river of excuses. One garage famous for a night and sticky cards forever. This was life at Frank's place.
Well, if you made it all the way to the end, either you really liked the story, or your phone fell asleep before you did. Either way, I appreciate you. For the full Frank's Place episodes, previews, and miniseries, follow us on Facebook. That's where all the chaos lies. And for the full audiobook versions, subscribe to the Frank's Place YouTube channel, where the stories run longer than Harry's one-liners. This is Life at Frank's Place.